Hello again. I'm back. Super Soul Sunday, and the conversation still goes on. And I am super excited. I have my celebrity couples, Mr. and Mrs.
Uh,
Amoakwa-Boadu. Welcome to the show today. And Marie, I am loving your new hair, the new you. So tell us what
Thank
motivated you
you.
to cut your hair, your beautiful hair. What motivated you?
Well, it's quite a bit of it was an inspiration from something that happened a few months ago. So I'm sure before I go into that, a couple of years back, so I mean, it's about 2, 3 years ago, I decided, it's about time I give myself a new look. Everybody's going natural and all that, but I never really could bring myself to do it. And then my daughters even went natural. They all chopped off their permed hair, grew their natural hair, which is really beautiful. I still could not bring myself to doing it. And these are 3 daughters. They've all been trying to convince me. I said no. But then during the early stages of COVID-19, around about May time, Sky News put out a post on their social media calling one of our very traditional African hairstyles coronavirus hairstyle. And
Yeah, I
that
saw
really
it.
upset me. That's it. So that really upset me. And not long after that was the whole George Floyd situation where everybody, the Black Lives Matter. And I
Yeah.
thought to myself, for the first time, let me just embrace my Africanness and go back to my roots and just stop relaxing my hair, because this is something many of us embraced without really understanding why we were even relaxing our hair, trying to make it soft, perhaps trying to fit in, stereotype and all that. So I thought, you know what? You're an African woman. Be bold, be proud. Just embrace your natural hair and rock it. So that was what inspired me.
Hey, Mama Africa. Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. And the last time we had a conversation with you, oh my goodness, we seriously enjoyed it. Some people told me they've started buying us candles and oils, and I said, oh, that is great. So thank you, and I'm glad you've come back. So for those of us who don't know Eric and Marie, Eric, please do us the honor and tell us again who you are, and Marie as well, your beautiful wife Marie.
I love it when you say that. I get an opportunity to speak. Right. So good evening, viewers. Good evening, everyone. Nana, thank you so much for having us on a second time. We are Eric and Marie Amoakwa-Boadu, husband and wife. To the glory of God, we've been married for the past 22 years. And I think we've lived together. We met about 24 years ago.
Yeah, we met in September of 97.
That's right. There we go. So yeah,
You
she
know the
23
date.
years ago then. So we thank God we've been together all this while, and through our journey, we've developed ourselves to be teaching personal development as well as marriage, coaching. So we offer these 2 services: personal development and marriage coaching services, and we've been doing that over 5 years now, to the glory of God.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she
And
knows the
also
dates.
you have a show. And
She
also
knows
you
the
have
dates.
a you have a
So
you have a
in
show.
simple terms, this is who we are.
Okay. And you have a show. Marie is okay. Marie, tell us what you also do, and then Eric will tell us about his show.
So, right. So my name is Marie Amoakwa-Boadu. I'm a primary school educator, transformational speaker. So I'm co-host with Eric on our Time with Eric and Marie program, where, just as he said, we teach on personal development. It's a subject area of life that we really enjoy talking about. I'm helping people to discover who they are and so on. I'm also an author of Explosive Secrets That Guarantee to Help Women and Girls. Mother of 3. We have 3 beautiful daughters. And in a nutshell, just somebody who's very passionate about life.
And no, you're not completed. You didn't tell us about your organization.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So I also run an organization called Ghana Diaspora Women. It's an organization that I set up last year. I'm the founder. And the whole idea is to mobilize and rally together Ghanaian women living in the diaspora to see how best we can support national development. So it runs from being able to champion the cause of more women going into the Parliament of Ghana, women, supporting female politicians to succeed, encouraging women in leadership in Ghana, not just Ghana, but on the continent of Africa, and also encouraging the young girls, preparing the young girls for leadership. So, and then obviously there's also a humanitarian side to it, whereby we are a voice for the voiceless. So on the ground, we support women from various different sectors, underprivileged women, underprivileged girls and children. So we do quite a bit. I mean, it's only been a year, just over a year now, but it's been a process, myself and the team, and we're actually enjoying it. As I'm speaking to you now, we're in the process of building a 3-classroom block at the Iswajamine district in the eastern region. So it's still in the very early stages, but these are some of the things that we're doing as an organization.
I just love her. I just love it. I just love it. And so Eric will be helping the men. And Eric, you also have a show. You have a show that you interview artists in Ghana and around the world. So tell us about that too.
That's right. So I'm a fine artist myself, and I realized that we don't get the chance to tell our African story a lot. So early part of this year, I decided to host all my friends and really good artists who have international fan base to showcase their works around the world. And we educate the rest of the world about African art, because African art is more spiritual than people think, and there's a deeper meaning to what we do. It's not just basic shapes and forms. So I bring the best of the best to my show every Saturday at UK time, 4 p.m., and we talk about African art.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. If you did not watch our first episode, if I should say that, about 3 weeks ago, please go check it out. We had a fantastic time. And Mr. and Mrs. Amoakwa-Boadu, they love traveling. Yes, and I asked them where they were, because I could see they are not at home, and I'm very, very interested. So they told me they're somewhere. What are you doing this weekend? What took you to? Is it Liverpool you are, or where are you?
That's right. We're currently in Liverpool. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So are you
with this Corona and COVID-19 season going on? Yes, with the coronavirus thing going on, we thought, we can't really travel outside as we normally do. So what can we do within the UK? Let's find somewhere that we've not necessarily been to before as a family, and spend some time there. And remember, we told you last time we spoke that we went to Spain at that time, Barcelona to be precise. And when we were coming back, our flight got cancelled because of COVID, and we had to find our way back into the UK, and we landed in Liverpool rather than London as we planned. And we explored the area, that day that we spent over here, and it was really nice. So we thought, let's bring the kids back in here, spend a weekend, a few days here, and even explore further and use that period to bond as a family. So far, that's what we're doing now. We're trying to spend some time together.
Okay, and since you have 3 girls. Since you have 3 girls, maybe the boy might come from Liverpool. We don't know.
Oh, Nana. You're always going on about this boy. I think we're enjoying life now. So we'll hand that over to someone else.
Isn't it? Maybe pass it back to you.
I have my boy. But let's talk about your personal development. How did you get into that, and how do you help people, with that aspect? Maybe Eric will
start. In terms of the art, or is it to Eric?
Yes.
Okay.
With your personal development.
In terms of helping people with.
Yes, with your personal development.
That's right. One thing that I've come to realize in life is that we underutilize what God has given us, and specifically which is our brain, we underutilize it as human beings. And specifically when it comes to the African continent, we've just scratched the surface of how powerful we are. as human beings, God has endowed us with so much power within us, but because we are not aware of it, or because we are ignorant of what God has given us, we don't use it to its full potential. Now, I'll tell you a story. Way back in 2000, between 2006, 2008, I was at the lowest point of my life. And I kept asking God, is that all there is to life? You know, just wake up in the morning, to work 8 hours, find your way back home, watch a bit of TV for a while, go to bed, and repeat that cycle. So over a period of about a month or two, I kept asking this question. I kept scratching the surface of what this world is all about. And I started going to the library, getting books to read, going on YouTube, watching videos, just buying books, basically, just to find out what else is out there, because I still could see people successful and enjoying life. And I asked myself, how do they do it? So through that period of time, I started seeing a common pattern that is all to do with the mindset. And that is where it clicked. That let me spend some time just developing myself, just educating myself in the area of mindset development. But I soon came to realize that the more you learn, the more you have to teach. So I started impressing this idea on my wife's life, on her mind in our conversations. And initially she was like, Kwame, I don't see any development in your life. I don't see any improvement in your life. How can I just jump onto this journey that you found? Yeah. I said, okay, the best thing to do is to live by example. You know, when I practice and changes do happen, probably she'll see it and jump on the bandwagon. And lo and behold, you know, eventually it started happening. So 2008 to about 2010, there was a major shift in my career, major shift in my way of life as a human being. Even our marriage, we could see the difference. So definitely Marie jumped on board and we studied like crazy. I mean, we immersed ourselves going towards to conferences and all that. And here we are today. Each time we studied, we started teaching. So for the past 5 years, we've been impacting our society, basically, in the area of personal development.
Fantastic. Marie, before I go on, Marie, I want to ask you, when he said, John, you know, this is what he's doing, and you told him, I haven't seen any improvement. So what were you looking at for that? You thought, okay, if you you're trying to develop yourself, what were you looking at that made you say that?
Nana, it was I was looking for the cash.
What you say?
I was looking for cash. So as Eric said, we were at the lowest point in our lives, in our marriage. Things were not so great. We had 2 young children then.
That's right.
And, you know, we're struggling. And then you come and tell me there's something called personal development. You're developing yourself. I should go read this, that, the other. And I'm also looking for opportunities, you know.
Evidence.
Yeah, so if it means I have to take on extra hours at work or whatever it is, that's what I'm focused on. You know, I don't have time to read a book or listen to an audio tape or anything like that. But eventually, I had my 3rd daughter, and I think I shared the story on the last session.
That's right.
Had that 3rd daughter. I was at home. Life was knocking me hard because, you know, when you're not working, I had to give up my career, and the financial struggles then quadrupled. So as I'm home, just trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, I heard the voice of God tell me to pick up my Bible and read, which I did. And then subsequently, as I'm studying the Bible and I'm trying to discover God's self and all that, one day Eric he had bought a book. He comes from work, drops the book on the table, and the title of the book was Thinking for a Change. Thinking for a Change. So I picked up the book and I thought, what an interesting title. You think for a change. What are they trying to say here? So anyway, I began reading the book, and Nana, that's when, you know, when Oprah says you experience an aha moment. Like a light bulb went off in my mind. You know, that light bulb went off that, oh, okay, so everything I'm looking for, you don't necessarily have to, it's within you.
Yeah.
It's not, you mustn't look for it outside of yourself. Look for it from within yourself. And if you're able to find it from within yourself, then you can actually grab hold of it from outside of yourself. So I did exactly that. The book was interesting. I started reading, and then that got me curious to learn more. So I hopped onto YouTube, and you type in something like leadership, and there's countless information, spirituality, I mean, all the things, personal development. And that is when the interest just kicked off. And it changed my life. And then I realized that the comments that I made to him, the statement that I made to him, that I was looking for some change, I could actually now see that change, and it was happening in me rather than in him, And the whole renewal of mindset was happening, which was very interesting. And here we are today.
Fantastic. There's a saying that knowledge is power, and which is very, very important. Many of us, we've been at the same stage for ages, and we are not, nothing is changing in the families. And today, when you talked about the book, there's a book that I also want to share from Dr. Kingsley Akoto, Joshua Akoto Banfu's book, which talks about family matters, and some of them I would share with you. And then, as both of you have your family and your marriage is thriving, you can share your experience with us as well. So let's bring a typical family who've been married for 10 years. Maybe, we've been going to church, we've been praying, but nothing is happening. Now, Marie tells you that, we want change. How would you tell such a family that change, there can be a change? Because it's happening so much. And that is also leading to separation, divorce, single parentness, because there is no change. And, we making other people dictate to our families. Like Marie said, she hasn't seen anything in you. Why do you want her to change? But we see change now. What would you tell such a family?
Right. What I would say to such a family is that, first of all, whatever is going on that they are looking to find resolve to, they should first of all accept the fact that there is a problem that they have to accept. Because it is in accepting that there's an issue that you can begin to find solutions to them.
Yeah.
So, and in finding the solutions, as I said earlier, it is not outside. The solutions are within you. The answers are within your own self. And so for every couple, in as much as in the end, it has to be a collective effort in finding the solutions, each one must begin to work on themselves. There's a saying that goes that where, and you'll have to help me on this, because sometimes I get it mixed up, where focus goes, energy flows.
You got it.
Yeah, where focus goes, energy flows.
Yes.
So if you're focusing too much on the negative aspect of the situation, then change is not going to happen. But if you begin to believe and see that something positive can come out of that mess, and that you've got the power to make that positivity happen, you've got the power to create that change that you're looking for, you'll begin to work on it. You'll find the strength to begin to work on it. So that's the sort of encouragement or encouraging words that I'll give to any couple. You must first of all believe that you can create the change that you want. You have the power. We are co-creators of our own destinies. So you can create what you want. And it starts off in your mind. So you pick it up in your mind first, believe that you can do it, and then begin to put it into action, set it in motion. Add your thoughts, your emotions, positive emotions, and everything to it. And of course, as Nana Checha will say, the power of your words. Speak it into being. Yes, speak it into being, and it will happen. The manifestation will happen.
Let me add more to what Marie said. I always see it like, so we always see that change is like a switch on a light bulb. When you go to the wall and you want to turn on the light bulb, all you do is just press that lever and then you have your light on. A lot of people think that change takes so much long a time that they don't even start it. But all I would like to encourage people in every sphere of life, whether it's your marriage, whether it's your finances, your career, whatever change you want to see is as easy as saying, I want to change. So Marie did mention recognition. You need to first of all recognize there's a problem. Number two, the change has a gestation period.
That's right.
But having said that, the actual change starts with you saying that I want to change. That is a light switch moment, because you making that statement initiates the process of change.
That's right.
So the decision will be made, and at that very time, the change process has started. Now, you wouldn't see it almost immediately, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I always give this as some example that is like the law of gravity. The fact that you don't see gravity doesn't mean that when you drop an apple, it wouldn't fall. Or when you throw yourself from a tall building, you wouldn't fall on the ground. Gravity will still kick in. So I want to assure people that even though you don't see change happening, it kicks into motion the moment you make up your mind that I want a change. So in the example that you gave with regards to married couples who've been married for 10 years, for instance, I would encourage them to make that decision, speak it into being. From that moment, change is happening. But they have to, it's like a catalyst. That change is happening, but they have to actually feed that change with actions. So if it's a character trait, for instance, that they want to change in their marriage and they want to be more happy in their marriage, they would have to start actually taking action towards it. A lot of people have a lot of wishful things. They just imagine that they've changed and they think that's all that there is. And that's why when we talk about the secret, for instance, a lot of people say it doesn't work. What you have to attach to that is once you've wished it into being, put forth action so that it happens. So I'll keep it in that simple term, but we can go deeper if we need.
Yes, we good. Thank you so much. But it's sometimes people would say, "Oh, it's for those who think they have already made it." But maybe people that are home. Let's say a mother is at home. She's been a housewife, or the one who is supposed to sit at home and take care of the kids, and now the kids have grown and gone. What would you say to such a mother? Because she's been sitting at home for a long time. How is she going to come back? And maybe, let's say, I'm not saying if you're on benefit is good, but once upon a time she used to work, then she came on benefit, now the kids are gone, now she has to come back and be who she, as you're saying, created
right.
to be, or her names. How would you tell such a mother or even a father?
So yes, let's break it down into practical terms, because many a times when personal development coaches speak, they think we are in this woo-woo land and we're just making up words and we no
empowerment.
This thing
motivating us.
Yes, that's right. It's more to do with starting in the mind. Once you make that you want to see a change in your life, you need to take practical steps. So one of it, for instance, as a single mother who hasn't got a job, is struggling, is on benefits and all that, is to map up your life. Where do you want to be? Because without mapping up where you want to go, you can't reach there.
That's right.
So I'll cite an example. When we're coming to Liverpool, for instance, I had to put in the sat-nav the destination postcode. That's where I wanted to go. And then I was able to follow a path, a route. And eventually, after 4 hours or so, I got to Liverpool from London.
Yeah.
Same applies to life. Currently, your present situation is where you are at the moment. You're not happy with it. But where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself, let's say, in the next 5 years? Plan that out, write it in detail, that let's say in the first year, for instance, I would like to change or get a better job. Now, ask yourself the 5 whys. There's something called 5 whys. Why do you want that change? Attach a level of pain to where you are at the moment. Maybe if you don't change for the better, your child who is there will not have a better future. You'll not be able to have money to buy the food or the clothing or the shelter for the child. So attach that level of pain to your current situation. That will propel you to change, because you can't live in that comfort zone. So let's say if you map out where you want to be in the first year, for instance, follow the action and actually develop yourself to get a job. Let's say get a new enroll on a new course. We're quite lucky that in the UK, for instance, many of these courses are free. You can, let's say, go on adult education, for instance, educate yourself in a specific area. Let's say if it's in nursing, or let's say which other areas?
Teaching.
In teaching. There are so many courses. Develop yourself. Within 1 year, you are there. It's better than you staying for the whole year, not developing yourself. And then at the end of the year, you're still where you are. So it all starts with defining what you want and then taking the necessary actions to get there.
I love it. Defining what you want, because it looks like many of us don't know what we want. And
that's true.
Why is it that? Because, you know, we come to Europe, we're coming to make the money, and then it's like we are stuck. We are the same place for years, and that is very bothering. And so what would you also say? Because that I want you to really, the two of you, please hammer on knowing what you want, because knowing what you want would propel you to go to the next level in life, especially in our marriage, while you marrying, you know, in having the kids. Because in the book I said you can father many children, but not many children can have a real father. So please, could you
That's profound, isn't it? Yeah.
Could you emphasize on knowing what you want for us? Mary, you can start.
Knowing what you want. I think, I think as Eric said, and as I've said as well, you see, everything starts off with a thought. So you know yourself, you know the level where you're at this point in time in your life, and you know whether you want something different for yourself or not. It's a matter of choice. Everything is a matter of choice in life. Life is about choices. You've got the opportunity to make a decision that you want something, or make a decision that you don't. Either way, you are making a decision.
That's right.
So your indecision is a decision in itself. You make a self-evaluation, self-assessment, and you say to yourself, I want something different. Once you discover that you want something different, you have a responsibility to bring it into being. You have the power to bring it into being. This is where your creativity comes in. And for those of us who are Christians, believers, this is where I like to say you become a co-creator, because you are a part of the creator himself, who is God. You have his abilities, his nature, and everything in you, the power to also create the life that you want. So once you come to that realization, you now have work to do. You cannot think the thought, believe that you can do it, and sit down and expect it to happen out of thin air. So that's where the process that Eric gave comes in. You begin to plot a plan as to how you're going to get there. You are at point A. You want to get to point Z. What is the process of getting to point Z? You've got to map it out. And in mapping it out, just as the scenario or the analogy that Eric gave, you place in your beginning, where you're starting from.
That's right.
You begin to break it down as to how you're going to get there. And once you're able to map out a plan, just like the driving analogy that he gave, you're coming from London to Liverpool. You put in the postcode of your destination. So you have to have the end goal in mind. This is what I want. I know where I'm going. Now, how do I get there? So you plug in the postcode of where you're going, your destination, into your sat-nav, or your GPS, as they call it in some countries. And once you begin the journey, you're being directed. You have guidance as to where you're going. Why? Because you have mapped it out. So as you're going, you keep referring back to your plan to make sure that you're in accordance to what you've set out to do, that you're achieving the objectives, you're achieving the aims, you're achieving the goals that you've set for yourself. Now, we also have to be very realistic that as we're going, we might get lost somewhere along the line. But because we have plugged in a destination, some way, somehow, we will be redirected. Because sometimes when you plug in a destination into your sat nav, you're driving, you make a mistake somewhere along the line, you hear the voice go reconnecting. It tries to reconnect you and bring you back on path. Why bring you back on track? Because you have a plan. But imagine you hadn't plugged anything and you were going and you made a mistake. You took a different turn on a motorway or something. How are you going to get reconnected to get back on track? So you have to map out a plan. This is what I want. This is how I'm going to do it. This is the end goal, the result that I'm looking for. Now you have to be able to hold the result in your mind and in your heart, so much so that you can physically touch it within you. This is where the power of visualization comes in.
Yeah.
And in the Bible, this is where I like to bring in the scripture in Philippians 4:8, where scripture says that whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are beautiful, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are praiseworthy, fix your mind on these things. Some translations also say, but I like the fix your mind. It means that keep it in your mind, hold it, let it be a part of you. And when something is a part of you, now what do? You see it, you talk about it, you feel it, you just love it. You're always, when you get to that stage, whatever it is that you want to do, you're always researching. Every single day you'll do a tiny piece of it because you want to achieve the end goal. So you don't just say, okay, this is what I want to do. Say, for example, you want to write a book. You've put the title and everything together. You write one page today, and for 3 months you haven't written anything anymore. It's going to take forever for it to happen. But if it is something that you really want to see that book of yours in your hand, you will organize yourself in a way that, okay, every day I want to write a 365-page book. Every day I will commit out of the 24 hours, 1 hour to write one page. Now, if you commit 1 hour every day to write one page, from January to 31st of December, you will have your 365-page book in your hand, assuming you committed just an hour a day. But if it is something that is so much important to you that you really want to achieve, you more. And in committing more, you end up receiving the results quicker. So instead of it taking you a whole year to write that book, you could write that same book in 3 months, in 9 months, in 7 months.
Wow.
You see? Wow. So everybody has a choice in life. You want something. How much of yourself are you willing to put into it to get the results that you want? Yeah, but as for change, is there for everybody.
That is fantastic. I'm loving this, but let's welcome our other guest, Pastor Sandra in. Hello.
Hello.
Pastor Sandra.
Hello. I'm so sorry I came in a bit late. I had another section, so I'm so sorry.
Right.
Oh, that's all right.
I call her the Swagalicious pastor. So Sandra is a relationship strategist and also a coach. So I said, Sandra, meets Mr. and Mrs. Amoakwa-Boadu. They are also
so nice to meet you.
So by the end of this evening, I think our relationship and everything about our personal development will be skyrocketing. And so come the end of 2020, I believe those of us who have been following you guys and learning from you and watching our interviews will really do well if they choose to do it. As Marie said, it's a choice. So Sandra, Delali, you're welcome back. Please explain to us who relationship strategist is, because when I put the poster there, somebody texted me, please could you tell me so? Yeah.
Okay. It's just okay. The strategist is taken from the word strategies. Okay. So being a strategist is you giving strategies to people to build a better relationship. So it's that simple. So you become a strategist. Okay. So and being a coach, as they are also coaches, it's quite easy because a coach is to teach, A coach is to direct, a coach is to mentor, and a coach is to get the people to get teach them to get the results that they need. So strategist is to give you the strategies you need, and coaching is to give you the ability to achieve the strategies that I give you.
Hey, okay. So you know, I have three super intelligent guests on my show. So if you see me doing super well, it means, you know, I thank God for the lives of Eric, Marie, and Delali. Okay, I've got a text. We're talking about family. We're talking about marriage. We're talking about personal development as well. Somebody is saying, how can my home be like, or how is your home like? You know, Marie, you've been married. The two of you have been successfully married for 22 years. Yes, you've had your ups and downs, but you've worked it to be where it is. And Sandra, how long have you been married, please?
17 years, next exactly a week today.
Oh, right. Exactly a week today.
Wow.
Congratulations in advance.
Congratulations in advance.
Yes. So tell us how you built your home. Let's start with Sandra, Pastor Sandra. How have you built your home?
Okay, I just finished a session where we talked about irreconcilable differences in marriages that lead to divorce, and so we just shared something very similar. How I have built my home is that I've nurtured what I started with, and so the seed that I sowed when I met my husband, I've nurtured it, and nurturing it means that I don't take him for granted. It doesn't mean that the marriage has been smooth sail. No, because we're two different people from two different backgrounds. Mind you, I'm a Fanti, he's an Ewe, even though he grew up in Kumasi, so he's a typical Ashanti man. I'm a Fanti girl. I grew up like, you know how the Fantis are. My mom is a mixed race, so I've got mixed cultures. And so we're two different people. But then we had to find a common ground to build a marriage on. We had to find common ground to build compatibility. We had to find common ground to always make sure that whatever we started is growing. So I've built my home on the love that I had for him, nurture it. Affection grows. And so if you neglect the affection you have for your spouse, I'm sorry, it will die. And I don't want anybody to say you were saying that affection dies. It dies. I'm sorry, but it is true. Whatever you neglect will die. And so for me, I nurture what I started with. I built on my communication. I just finished a session where I talked about I said communication skills is a course that I think every dating couple or every premarital counselor should teach the couple when they come for premarital counseling, because if you don't build on your communication skills, I'm sorry, but then you're not going to go anywhere. Even how I can say you're a fool, but the way I will say it will not mean an insult. But if I say it in a very rudely, you will get upset. But if I say it in a very nice way, you might not get offended. And so I build on my communication skills. I make sure that I'm building my love. I'm building my. I said to somebody this evening, I said, men have ego, but we need to know how to brush it. Likewise, I have my mood swings, but he needs to know how to handle it. When my mood swings come, I don't feel like talking. And so then every day we build. Okay, so we build on what we started with. It hasn't been smooth sail, but I trust you. It's been. I normally say that I think my marriage is one of the best marriages in the world because of how I rock my boat. What floats my boat will not be what floats somebody else's boat, but I know how to rock mine. And so that is how I've done it. And so basically, as a Christian, we build it on Christ. That is our solid rock. But if Christ gives you something and you don't take care of it, you will lose it.
Fantastic. So she is building her home and rocking it. So you cannot say that you're going to look at Marie and we will be inspired about what you're doing, but then you don't know how they're rocking their boat. So Marie, tell me how you have built your home to now. Mary, can you hear me? I think where they are, the reception.
Right.
Can you hear me? Did you hear my
Very
question?
similar to Pastor Sandra's. I mean, I've built my home on love, discipline, integrity, wisdom. The foundation, Nana, the foundation has been, it's been God and everything we know about how we're supposed to live as human beings. Even though at the early stages we weren't as developed, or we hadn't developed as ourselves as we have now, we just brought the values that we were that was we learned from our parents. So just the moral values, Christian values, live right and do right. But for us, it has,
Oh, so I'm so sorry because where they are, the reception is bad. So hopefully Eric and Marie will rejoin us. So Pastor Sandra, so yes, as you've built your home, and one thing that you said is building it on Christ and having a beautiful and making it. What would you tell a single parent as well? Because you're married, but there is another woman who is single, another father out there who is a single parent, but then they want to have that beautiful home. How would you tell them? What would you tell them to do?
Well, I think it all begins with you dating. So you need to make sure that you're dating the right person. You're dating not because you're single, you just want to jump into any relationship or every relationship. You need to know what works for you. And so the first thing is that prior to you getting married again or getting married, I don't know what happened before you became a single parent, but then you need to know that dating involves quite a lot of strategies. Instead of just thinking, oh, I found this one, or she's got a beautiful curvy figure, so yeah, this is the lady I want to be with. It's pardon me, it's built on you not ignoring the red flags. It's built on compatibility, it's built on respect, it's built on that your values and that of the person you're going to date aligns. If your values don't align, I'm sorry, but you're going nowhere. And so you need to make sure that your values align, your purposes align. And you can't be with somebody who doesn't support your vision and your dreams. It's not going to work. And so prior to you getting married again, you need to make sure that you have all these things in place where you're dating right, you're communicating right, your purposes align, your values align. I mean, these are the fundamentals of making sure that you're going into a good relationship, because the foundation is very important as to what you build on it. If you're building it on deceit, if you're building it on you putting on a mask, I'm sorry, but one day the mask is going to fall off. And when the mask falls off and the real you comes out, then there's a problem. And so you need to know who you're dating. You need to know what their values are, and it's very, very important. Your core values are very, very important. I normally say that anybody that will not respect your boundaries when you're dating will never respect your boundaries when you get married. It's as simple as ABC. But so many times we ignore all these red flags because of the name of I am in love with the person, or I can manage, or I can deal with it. There's nothing like I can manage. There's nothing like I can deal with it. You can't deal with it. You need to know you are dating right. It's very, very important.
Thank you. Yes, you're back. Thank you very much. Pastor Sandra was sharing with us the flags we don't have to, we have to look out for the flags before we go into dating and marriage, because sometimes I love you when we see the features, when we see the beauty, when we see the sis spark, we're like, I'm so in love, and then you get home, or after the marriage, that story of after the wedding, the lady wouldn't want the guy to turn off the lights, and he says, why can't you turn on the light? Because the weave came off, the eyelids came off,
lashes, yeah.
the teeth came out. The body magic came out, and it was you picture it. So you have to be very, very careful. And I know that sometimes women can also women can be, men can be vulnerable, women can be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So Eric, please, as a man, could you advise our brothers out there, in terms of making that right decision and knowing the woman that you're bringing into their home, because it's scary out there nowadays.
Really scary, really scary. What I'll say is that there are a lot of qualities that we need to look out for, but we shouldn't let those qualities restrict us from finding someone who fits some of them and then spending the time to develop ourselves together in the course of the marriage. Because a lot of people have got a checklist, let's say a list of about 20 different things they'd like to see on their women. So let's say everybody, forgetting that as the years go by, the curves will go, things will change. A woman who's God-fearing, all these lists can be endless if you want them to be. I want us to reconsider that if, let's say, you see qualities that especially are in line with what the Word of God says, go for these, and then the other areas you can actually surely develop them, so that we don't restrict ourselves and we don't go in for those that were meant to be ours. I mean, I'll cite ourselves as an example. We met at the workplace, and within 4 months, we had gone to the registry to marry. And there were a lot of naysayers around us who said, oh, it's just 4 months of courting, it wouldn't last and all that. But to the glory of God, after 23 years, we are still here. We are, as we speak.
And but chilling in Liverpool.
That's right. We're in Liverpool. To the glory of God, we've been working on ourselves, day in and day out. And one thing that Pastor Sandra said was that you have to keep working on yourself every single day. We are work in practice. So if it's in the area of communication, for instance, areas like active listening, for instance, should be something that is core to marriage, whereby we shouldn't listen to speak, but we should just listen for listening's sake, to understand. To understand. And there's so many other areas that we can actually develop ourselves as we go on. And that's the joy of marriage, rather than just finding your perfect angel and thinking that that's it. I found the angel, and therefore we don't need to work on our marriage anymore.
Fantastic. I want to share this book, as I said, by Dr. Kingsley Joshua Kotoba, for Family Matters. And please, I recommend this book to families out there. Read it. It's from fatherhood to the children to our sex life, and everything is in there. And some of them I can't read it on there, so you've got to get the book. But one thing that when I was reading it that really caught my attention was that how are you protecting your home? And that is one of the things that I've seen, that because we are not protecting our homes, we have allowed people to creep in and kind of help us to kind of vermouth that separation or things. And when I was reading, it says, unless Psalm 127, where it says, unless the Lord builds our home. But how are you protecting your home? It goes on to say that some are building their homes, protecting their home by voodoo, and all those kind of things. You come home and there's some things under the bed and stuff. And others are also protecting their home and their family with prayer. But how do we allow people? Many people's marriages have gone sour or broken because they did not protect their home from other people. What is your advice, first of all, Pastor Sandra, to families out there?
It's very important that you don't allow outside influence to take hold of your home. And I think that the people you associate with also plays an important role in your life. If you take people that are always negative, people that are always talking down on marriage, people that are always talking bad about their husbands, it will begin to have an influence on you. And so outside influence is very, very important, who you associate with. In as much as you could be praying that God protects your home, God protects your spouse or your children or whatever bad, if you allow outside influence, negative outside influence to come into your home, irrespective of your prayer, you will destroy that which you're building, because then they begin to advise you illy. They begin to give you wrong advice. They begin to tell you stuff. And you know what? Things that you hear actually plays an important role, because then you begin to think about it. Even in your sleep, you can actually be thinking about what someone said to you. And so then you begin to, if you're not careful, you project it into the home, and then you begin to spoil that which you have. But if you're able to just be together with your spouse, whatever the problem is, listen, let's try and have a solution. That is why I for the beginning, I talked about communication. If you're able to communicate with your spouse, it doesn't matter how ugly the problem is, but because the two of you are together and you know how to handle conflict, you talk about it, you find a solution, it becomes easier. Unless that it's dire for you to get a third party involved, I'm sorry, but don't bring a third party into your marriage until it is absolutely necessary. And know that whoever you are bringing in has got the wisdom to handle whatever you guys are going to present to him or her. Outside influence is not the best. Friends, families, in-laws, even pastors. Some pastors are not even good influences when it comes to relationships and marriages. So you need to be very careful about how you bring all these things into your home. If you want to have your peace of mind, if you want to build a beautiful relationship or a beautiful marriage, work it together with your spouse.
Yeah.
Wow. Eric and Mary, what would you say?
I think, yet again, I agree with what Pastor has said. I mean, the way we've protected our home, we haven't protected it by, bringing stuff from Ghana in black pots, hiding them under our bed, things like that.
Absolutely.
No. The way we've protected it, we are believers. We have God in us. We know, we know the God factor. It's wisdom, and wisdom said to us, keep people out. Keep people out, whether it's friends or family. Keep them out. Now, that's not to say that you literally keep people out physically, that you don't have visitors or anything like that. But we have not allowed external influence in our marriage, whether from our parents, from our siblings, from friends, whoever they are, even from our pastors. Nobody but the two of us. In fact, now I'd say even with our three daughters, because sometimes we'd go to them for advice. But otherwise, nobody outside of the five of us in this family unit has had any influence. We have our family sessions once a week, we try to do it once a week when the kids were at home. Now that they're in uni, when they're home on holidays, we try to do it as often as we can. But we're always what we call our own MOT. We try to do our own MOT, because even with our cars, the cars that we drive, we service them, we do MOT. So then we have to do the what's the other one called, to get the that's the MOT. We do all these things to make sure that the car is running well. Now, in our workplaces, there's always like appraisals that you have to do, evaluations every now and then. You've got to meet your boss or your supervisor every now and then. It's like a progress check. Why don't we adopt the same kind of structures in our homes and within our marriages, and check in on each other every now and then, and check in on the marriage? How is the marriage doing? How is the home doing? So we've protected our home that way. And then obviously with prayer, with talking things through. If there's an issue, we've got to talk it through. How did we get here? How did we lose our guard? Why didn't we see it coming? What are we going to do now that it's here? How do we protect ourselves? How do we build a barrier, a wall, whatever it is to ensure that it doesn't happen again? And so on and so forth. So
let me add more to what Marie has said. And you did quote it. Psalm 127 verse 1. Except the Lord builds, the builders build in vain. Now, it might seem like a cliche, but it's really important that a family's foundation is built on the principles of what the Lord has said it should be. So we've done it by having the basis of our family on God's principles. These days, social media has actually infiltrated into many families, And therefore, many families are losing the essence of this familyhood. And a lot of people are able to infiltrate, not physically into homes, but they are able to subliminally suggest into people's minds how marriages should be. So when you watch Facebook videos, for instance, there are a lot of people that are saying, oh, marriage is not like a World Cup. We shouldn't take it so serious. We watch reality TVs, and people are just treating marriage anyhow. These can subconsciously just affect the way we live our lives. But if we are going back to the source, which is the word of God, we'll be able to know that there is a baseline on which God actually instructed us that marriage should be on. And we'll be able to always go back to the source. When things are not going well, have arguments, when finances are not going well, when, let's say, there are a lot of external influences coming in, we'll always drift back to the source. And that's what I'd like to add to it.
I got sorry, I got a message saying that, so how can I say how do we allow our pastor in our marriage, as my wife always picks up the phone when we have an argument? She calls our pastor. Pastor Sandra, you're a pastor, so I mean, all of you men and women of God. So do people just call you every little, situation? They give you a call for advice. What do you say?
If the wife picks up a phone to constantly call the pastor now needs to tell the wife there are certain things that just the two of you needs to sort out. You don't always need the pastor to intervene. I mean, this is where counseling becomes paramount, where you call both of them and counsel them as to how they can manage their affairs of their home, because you don't always need the pastor's advice. You don't always need a third party to come in and tell you how to manage your home. And so then if whatever is going on is constant, like the pastors are always getting involved, the pastor need to call them both and have a counseling session with them, give them the skills they need to be able to handle certain things that does not necessarily need the pastor's intervention. Because to be honest with you, certain things don't need the pastor's intervention at all, unless that the pastor has actually, what is the word I want to use? I want to be very lenient with the pastors this evening, okay? Unless the pastors is not, I don't want to use the word a narcissist, but some pastors are, pardon me, but it's the truth, where you have to contact them regarding everything that goes on in your home. The pastor has to be involved. But if the pastor gives you the free will to grow, then the pastor needs to call both of them, counsel them as to how to manage their marriage, give them the skills and the tools they need, so the pastor doesn't always become the center of attraction in the home. Because to be honest with you, if the pastor is constantly intervening in the marriage, it gets to a point where the husband becomes frustrated. It gets to a point where the husband begins to compare that, yeah, well, I'm not the pastor. Go and ask the pastor. If care is not taken, the man or it's usually the man anyway. He might even say, okay, I'm not even going to church anymore because everything's about the pastor. The pastor. Okay, go and marry the pastor. Then it even escalates the problem. And so pastors need to give their church members the tools. If you're not a qualified marriage counselor, direct them to a place where they can get the skills they need, where they can get the tools they need. Listen, referral is very important. You can't do it all. You can't come to me and tell me I should help you with your finances. I am not a financial person. I can give you the basics, but then if you need proper financial strategist, I need to direct you in that way. So if you're a pastor that you are not a qualified marriage counselor, don't feel too big to refer them to people that do marriage counseling. Don't feel too bad to refer them to couples therapy. It is very important that you refer them and let them get the necessary help and the tools they need to build their home without you.
Marie, what would you say?
I mean, the way you bring the pastor in is by picking up the phone to call them all the time. what happened to communication, as we said from the get-go? Why aren't you talking to the person whom you have the issue with, or the person with whom at the end of the day you're supposed to be finding solutions together with? You know, they are your first port of call. The past, they are your first port of call. So what I would urge couples who have adopted to do, begin to refrain from doing that until it is absolutely necessary to do so. When you have attempted yourself a couple of times and it hasn't worked. I mean, I recently, after 23 years of mine, I recently learned from a big sister of mine. She said, you know what? If there's a disagreement between my husband and I reach a point where I realize he's still not really understanding my point of view, I just drop it. I just leave it and pick it up another time, where perhaps I can present it a different way. You see? So these are some of the things that we can begin to, everybody can begin to adapt. You know yourself, you know your spouse and what your dynamics are. If you feel as though you brought something to their attention a couple of times, it's not working out, find different ways. Again, it goes back to creativity. Sometimes you can even go out, you know, like on a date night, and that would be a perfect environment to revisit the issue, because then you know, here is set. It's different. You're not at home. Perhaps maybe when you're home, you're stressed out all the time. But stepping out of home it gives you a different setting and a different atmosphere to be able to maybe revisit the matter. Sometimes even something like what we've done now, go on a mini vacation, a weekend away, a retreat. This is why retreats are very good. Go on a retreat, and that would be a perfect time to matter. Have that chat between yourselves, because at the end of the day, whether a pastor brings the solution or not, it is the both of you that are carrying it back home to go and work it out. So you might as well find ways of solutions. And Nana, like I said from the beginning, every human being on this planet Earth has the solutions within themselves. Everybody has it. This is why oftentimes when you go to counselors or coaches, you know, with issues, they sit back and listen to you, and they're just jotting the notes, and they just watch you chat away. You're talking, and then they'll ask you a question, something that will make you go back within yourself, because the answers are within. The answers are within. You see, so
I think what I'd like to add to it is that in our local dialect, we say that our marriage is a journey, and we shouldn't forget that. And for every journey, you have to go through potholes and ups and downs to get to where you're going. That doesn't mean that the moment you hit a block, straight away you run to your partner. One thing that helped us a lot, no matter what happens between us, we are easy. And you have to go through hours of just trying to prove yourself or making yourself heard or making yourself understood. But that is the beauty of marriage. You have to be able to go through these areas, uncomfortable areas, to learn about your partner, so that next time you'll be able to avoid. A lot of people want it the easy way and think that the pastor has got every solution to their problem. This is where the problem lies. Pastor.
Oh, today Eric and Marie's
are not. They have learned to deal with it, baby. You never know, but we have to learn to be able to resolve our own problems ourselves.
Yeah. We have to learn to solve our own problems. I like that. And I'm going to read this, and then I think this is going to go to you, Eric, as a father. It talks about a good father, and I believe you're a good father, because you know, the man, I always say, no matter what.
A wonderful father he is.
You know, the man is the head, whether we like it or not. The man was created first, whether we like it or not. So we always have to give honor to the man, to the father of our children, even if you divorced, even if you separate, unless that can I say if the man was very abusive, then maybe, even that, maybe we have to forgive them. They're going to call me and they're going to, nah, you said we should honor those abusive men. But no, that is what no one's saying. But we're talking about a good father. And the book did say that, many men can father children, but not many children can have a good father. So there is a difference. So if you're a father or you're a man out there having babies all around and you are not taking responsibility, then there is a question. So it says a good father is sober, a good father is distant, a good father is supportive, a good father is patient, a good father is authoritative, but not in that aspect of ordering you about.
Authoritarian.
A good father is respectful, a good father is fair, a good father is affectionate, a good father is exemplary, a good father is present and engaged. And I'm reading
Absolutely.
from Family Matters by Dr. Kingsley Joshua Kotobanfo. It's a book that I think you have to get one and read. When you go on Amazon, you will get it. Get one and read it, and it's a powerful tool for your family. And so let's see. Eric is back. Eric, did you hear the words I was reading?
I caught bits of it. If you can repeat
Okay.
it, please.
So we were talking about good father. We know you're a good father because you've taken your family to Liverpool, and the three ladies or the princesses are enjoying themselves. But let's take one. A good father is present and engaged. How are you engaged? It says this implies to being involved in your children's life. Don't just be physically present, be actively involved. So how would you tell the world how active you are involved with your girls?
Right. So I'll take it from a generic point of view first, and then I'll bring it down to mine. If you finish with the question. So basically, a lot of fathers are out there trying to make money to look after the family, and therefore do not get the time to spend a lot of time with their families. You spend with the family, but it's the quality. Whenever you are present, what quality are you bringing in? How much quality do you put into the time that you are around? Because most of the times you are actually just doing, let's say, business. You are busy traveling just to work and bring more money home. The way I have done it is that, I used to work outside of London most of the times, and then came back home on the weekends. I made sure that even if I'm away, wherever I am, if there's an opportunity to visit my kids' school, I make it a point to take time off work to visit the school, to get the school report and do the review with regard to the kids. Now, any opportunity that I got over the weekend, I fit in activities that will let us spend here if we need to actually embark on anything, the movie, travel locally. You don't have to actually necessarily travel out of the UK before you're spending something I did that the kids and the rest of the family loved. So it's more to do with quality.
All right. So we will move. Pastor Sandra, so I know, Eric, are you there? Eric is breaking.
The internet is not favoring.
Okay.
It's raining over here.
Yeah, but we can still.
Oh, it's raining. Oh, I think it did rain. It did rain in Enfield as well. So, because it was hot, and then we were all like, "It's too hot. It's too hot. It's too hot." So we said, "Okay, have the rain." So nobody should complain that it's raining. Well, okay. So thank you for sharing that. So I got a text. She said, the lady says, my husband is never there. And then he comes home and he doesn't even want to lift up a spoon, sits by the telly and do nothing. And then when I talk, I get beating.
Oh dear.
So what should we tell this sister?
Okay. The beating bit is a no. I mean, the whole issue is a no. That beating becomes physical abuse, and that needs to be sorted. Okay, they both need to get help. I don't want to say she should get help, but the perpetrator as well needs help. Probably he needs to go on anger management, so he knows that when I'm angry, I don't have to hit a woman. And any man that hates a woman, I'm sorry, is a coward. Now, if your husband doesn't want to lift a finger to do any chores in the house, he is actually now not treating you like a wife, or then you become like a slave. And like I said to you prior to coming on, I had a session on irreconcilable differences. And this is actually a ground for, I'm not saying they should divorce, but it is one of the grounds why people divorce, that I do all the chores in the house. What I think they should do is now probably go for couples therapy. Find somebody that does couple therapy, and then they should go for couples therapy, which is very important, because then they would begin to teach the man how to support the wife in the home. When it comes to abuse, Nana, you know my stand on abuse anyway, so I don't really want to go into it too much. But couples therapy would help them, because a man that doesn't lift a finger, and sometimes I also think that the women have actually mothered their husbands instead of the husband being a spouse and a partner to the wife. We mother them. Yeah. And so from the beginning, however you train him, he would grow up with it. And so you were doing everything for him. Then when you start having kids, he's used to the way you were training him. And if he is not, excuse me and pardon my French, if he's not sensible enough to know that the kids are in and so you're getting a bit more tired and he wants to offer the help, then he leaves everything for you to do. So from the beginning, lay down structures, okay? I said to somebody that I don't even remember the last time I took my bin out, unless maybe when my husband is out of town. But if he's at home, I don't carry my bin out for the bin men to take it. I don't do it. It's not that I can't do it, but he does it. Even when he's away, he calls me on Tuesday evening to remind me to put the bin outside for Wednesday morning. Why? Because I'm not used to doing that. And so however you train people, or you train your spouse, especially with the men, the way the women, we mother them. They're not babies, they're not boys. We normally say they are babies. Men, our husbands are not our babies, they are partners. We're in partnership with them. And so then we need to all offer help to one another. It's different if you live in a place like Ghana. When I was growing up, we had a house help, we had a gate man, we had a house boy, we had all these things. And so help was available. So that if your husband is not lifting a finger to do anything, it's understandable because there's help available. But if you live in the UK, you don't have that help that is available for you. I remember when I once had somebody to help me clean my home, a housekeeper, and I was just thinking about the amount of money I was paying to this woman every month. And if you should, I was just thinking about something, okay, because I'm busy and my kids are young, I needed extra hands. But the amount of money I was paying, if probably I was putting that money in the bank and getting my husband to help me, we could have saved that kind of a money. But no, because we're both busy and my kids were younger, we needed that extra hand. But it's expensive to have a housekeeper in the UK. You don't do things like that. And so if we're saying that we are partners, then partners support one another. Partners help one another. You see, in Ghana, they say the left baits the right and the right baits the left. That is how it has to be in a marriage. It's not a one-man show. No. And then if in the night you want item 13 and the wife doesn't give it to you, it becomes a problem. Yes, you're denying me. Of course, because she's tired. Emotionally, she's tired. Physically, she's tired. She can't give you what you want. So if you want to enjoy the full package of a wife, help. But they need to go for couples therapy. I think it will help them.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I agree with Pastor to a very great extent. Let's add to it that, when it comes to marriage, to every cause, there's an effect. So,
of course,
to every effect, there's a cause. So we shouldn't forget looking at the actual root cause of why the man is behaving that way. We need to be able to have that communication with the man to find out, why aren't you helping in the house? Why is it that when you come home, you don't want to engage with me? Why is it that you don't want to talk to the children? You don't want to get involved in house affairs? That conversation needs to be had to find out why he's behaving the way he's behaving. And with a good understanding, maybe there might be an underlying problem. It might be him just being lazy, as Pastor Sandra said, but there might be another thing that's causing him to behave the way he's behaving. And then if that's the case, then we look at resolving all the issues, regardless of how painful it would be. Then we can move forward.
Fantastic. Oh, there is more, but because time is not going to permit us, I think we have to continue this thing again and again and again and again, because it's broad. But last week we were doing that married with my American counterparts, and we were talking about sex in the marriage, and there was a little kid, so we had to change the codes, and we were saying the game, and one of them, when I said the game, she thought we were talking about the Super Bowl game, so she was going on and the last time we spoke to Marie and Eric, they gave us some tips, which I think I took some on board, and you can see I'm glowing. So thank you for sharing that. And so so Pastor Sandra, tell us how, as wives, as couple, how, because we heard from Marie, and maybe Marie would tell us more, but how are you able to spice up the home so that your home is so happy, and share with us what we have to do so that we keep young and happy?
Spice it up as the home, as general home, or as a particular area? Is it the general, how to keep general home, or
she's also going to talk about the Super Bowl? She's going to talk about the Super Bowl, please.
Okay, so we're talking about the Super Bowl. I mean, I normally say that women are to become a mystery. The reason being that men are intrigued by a mysterious woman. Being mysterious doesn't mean you're mischievous, but means that you always have something up your sleeve. And so today you're wearing a see-through lingerie, tomorrow you're wearing a baby doll, the next day you're doing something else. It's all about your creativity. Okay, you need to become very creative. Listen, you do something that can blow your husband's mind. It could even be just to say, you know what, this evening, let's just do a massage evening. You don't even necessarily need to use essential oils or anything. Just go to Asda and get a 1 pound baby oil and just have a full-blown massage. The end result is up to your own imagination, because no full body massage ends up just massage. It gets you into a different level altogether. And then you begin to learn about each other's I'm not saying sexual fantasies, but there has to be something for you to explore. Go on an adventure. I'm not saying do the things that 50 Shades of Grey, no, but things that both of you are comfortable enough to do. Listen, there's so many things you can do to your husband that when he's driving even on the motorway, he will start giggling to himself. Because you just start the recollection of the things that you did. Okay. And so I think that, you see, and it all boils down to having the emotional connection. Once the emotional connection is there, it's beautiful, you can do it. But if you're not emotionally connected, you don't even want to use your creativity to do anything. Imagine you are super tired. You by 10 p.m. you're now going to have a bath. There's absolutely no way you can be creative because you're tired. You want to sleep. But if that emotional connection is there, he's helping you. He's there for you. He's loving on you. He's massaging your feet because you're tired. I'm sorry, by 8 p.m., 9 p.m., you're telling your kids, sweetheart, it's late, you got to go to bed. Not because you want them to sleep, but because you want to have your own time. There are times where you have to send your kids to your mother. If your mother lives in the country, send them away for the weekend or get somebody to look after them, or just
so that
book
you
a
bring
hotel.
the house down.
I'm telling you, or just book a hotel a weekend away, just the two of you. Don't go to don't do city hotels, but do like seaside or countryside where it's quiet, and just get time for one another, exploring one another, explore. So all avenues from head to toe, whatever your husband finds comfortable or what both of you find comfortable enough to do. Just do it. It is beautiful. In the sight of God, it is holy. It is not dirty. It is not disgusting. There's so many million things you can do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think we're going to have a weekend away with you and Marie and but it's so true, you know. It's so true. I know Marie has so much experience that she's just giggling. She's just giggling. And I took Commander on that trip, and I got a new ring. You know, I got a new ring because
hallelujah to that.
Blew his mind away. You know.
Let me share something with you.
Share.
Session, I got so engrossed. During our last session, I got so engrossed in the conversation talking about the massage oils and the scents and everything, and not to put too much out there, but watch this space because we're coming out with a product line.
Yay!
That is fantastic. So we'll be coming. So it's going to be like the and Summers of Marie. We come shopping. Yeah. Okay. We pray that the good Lord blesses the work of your hands.
That's right.
Amen.
Well,
Amen.
I've got another text. She said this is a lady. She says, I am single and I've got this guy who wants to date me, but I don't know how to tell my children.
Okay, it's important that if you're a single parent and you're getting yourself involved in a new relationship, you don't introduce your kids to the man right away. Make sure that you know how the relationship is going first. If it doesn't go well, that's not when you come back to your kids. Then it means that you keep introducing different men to them all the time. But know how to break the news because of how the relationship progresses. And when you're introducing the man to them, let them just know that he is your friend at the moment, because if it doesn't work out, then you've got nothing to lose. But if you start saying that, oh, mommy is going to get married to this man, mommy's going to get married to this man, they get that in the back of their mind that they're going to get married to them. But if it doesn't work out, then it's a whole different ball game. At a point, you have to introduce them so you know even how the man bonds with your children. And to all the single moms out there, if you're dating and the man is not connecting with your children, I'm sorry, don't make the mistake of letting the relationship progress. Because any man that doesn't connect with your children is going to bring you heartache, because you're going to be divided between your kids and the man. Make sure that if you're going into a relationship, as much as it depends on you, a man that will love you and love your children, a man that will see the kids as his, a man that is comfortable around you, or even if you're not at home, you're not thinking, what is this man doing to my kids? No, it has to be like he's coming in as a father. And so that is how it has to be. But don't just introduce the man to your kids right away. See how the relationship progresses first before you bring the kids in.
Thank you very much. Another text is coming. She says, I am in an abusive relationship, and anytime I want to quit, my spiritual father says the Lord will do it. What should I do?
Just quit.
She needs to speak. She needs to speak to someone. It is not about the Lord will do it matter, because I've seen people die. I've seen people get hurt. I've seen people be named, all in the name of my pastor says I should wait. My pastor says I should pray. And so what she needs to do is she needs to get professional advice. It's not based on the pastor now, because the pastor might not know how to get involved when it comes to abuse. If she wants to speak to Women's Aid, or she wants to speak to domestic abuse helpline. But if it's getting too much, she might need to get a respite. Respite means that she needs to leave the home for some time, because being in an abusive relationship, even though it's physical, it still has the emotional implications as well, and it is not good. Maybe before anybody becomes physical abuse, they verbally abuse you, and so then you have everything embodied in it. So emotional abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, all embodied into one. So it takes its toll on you. And I don't want to say that, but I don't think that anybody should be in an abusive relationship. I'm not saying go and divorce your husband, no, but I want you as a woman to get help for yourself. So get out, get respite. And if you think that the man can change and you want to come back, that's up to you. I don't condone divorce. Let me use that word. I don't condone divorce. But when it comes to abuse, I'm sorry, but it is my heartbeat. I don't want any woman to be in an abusive relationship. And so if you think that you can't, you need help. And Nana, I can give you some numbers you can give to her to get help. And then I think she would need to speak to somebody that maybe a domestic abuse counselor as well, that would be able to counsel her as to how to get her life back, how to get her self-esteem back, and not to be in an abusive relationship, and let her know that it is not her fault that she is being abused. It is the fault of the husband. He is the perpetrator. She is just a victim, and it is never her fault.
Marie and Eric, what do you have to say about that?
I would say seek professional counsel.
Thank you.
If it continues, leave.
Yeah.
I'll keep it simple. Our internet is not favoring us tonight, but we'll hang in there.
Yeah.
Mm.
What I would also add to that is you want to quit. First of all, has she done everything in her power to resolve whatever the issue is? Is where the stage where they're at now, is there anything she can salvage? Is she ready to salvage the relationship? Is she ready to pick it back up? Or is she at that point where she just wants out? If she's at that point where she just wants out, be honest with yourself, be true to yourself, and tell your partner that this is where I'm at. I've had the internal conversations. I've done everything. I've prayed about it. I've done everything I can. And you know that where we are now, things are not going to work out. And if she's able to reach that state and they can come to an agreement that they're going to go their separate ways, then fair enough. By all means, just leave, quit. If the other person can't bring themselves to it, then this is where I know, Pastor, you need that professional counseling, you need that help. And if you can bring them on board to meet a counselor to see how best the matter can be resolved, that would be great. Because at the end of the day, for me, I always, and especially to the women, I always say to people that your happiness counts. If you're not happy, it affects your well-being. It affects several other aspects of your life, including your health, which is very important, you know. So definitely you have to have some conversations. You can't just say, I'm not happy, I want out, he doesn't want out, what should I do? I mean, I would say to you, you want out, get out.
Get out.
We
seek
always
help.
like to, as I said earlier, you know, there's a want, you want it, go for it. So if it's wanting to get out of a relationship, go for it, do it. What's stopping you from doing it? So
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric and Marie and Pastor Sandra. We have been, I mean, we could go on till tomorrow morning and we will have so much to talk about, but we will have to bring our conversation to an end. I'm so thankful that you made time to come and continue to enjoy your time in Liverpool. And I want all the juicy news when you come back. I will be bombarding Marie with text messages for tips, but I am thankful that you all made time. So please tell us your social media handlers.
Okay, mine is my personal one is Sandra Awudi, and you can also find me on Real Talk with Sandra Delali, and you can find me on Real Moms Connect. All these are on Facebook, and you can find Real Talk with Sandra D again on Instagram. The D gets a letter D on Instagram, and you can find me on Instagram as well on Real Moms Connect. You can find me on LinkedIn as Sandra Delali. You can find me on Twitter as Real Talk. Yeah, so all the major social media handles I am on.
Thank you so much. And
Mm.
my celebrity couple.
Us on Facebook and Instagram is Time with Eric and Marie. You can find us on those two handles. And we've got our individual pages as well. So Eric, Amoakwa-Boadu for the art side of things. And
right. So
your page.
oh, I've got quite well. So for my personal one, I would say Marie Amoakwa-Boadu on Facebook, and then Marie A. Boadu for my personal one, Marie Amoakwa-Boadu for my page. And then Twitter is Marie Amoakwa-Boadu, Instagram Marie Amoakwa-Boadu. I just like to keep it simple so people don't get confused. So if you just type in Marie Amoakwa-Boadu on all social media handles, I should pop up somewhere. Mm-hmm. And then obviously for those who want to join the Ghana Diaspora Women platform, yet again on all social media handles, just type in Ghana Diaspora Women, or you can visit our website to find out what we do, www.ghanadiasporawomen.com. Our Facebook page as well, you would get information on us. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Amoakwa-Boadu and Pastor Sandra Delali. And also, I also still want to recommend Family Matters. It's a great book by Dr. Kingsley Joshua Akotobamfo. You want to get this book and read, and that is going to be my, that's what we're using to mentor families as well. So please do get one, and also follow these wonderful guests of mine and be a blessing to them. And I know that your marriage, your life, it's going to go to another level if you make the choice. It's all about choice, as we have learned today. My name is Nana Checha. You can follow me on Nana Checha Show, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and as Marie said, keep it simple, Nana Checha, and follow me. Thank you. Have a wonderful, fruitful week. And till I come your way next Sunday, remain blessed and always know that you belong at the top. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.